urgent. March's double retrograde will reveal something you weren't supposed to see. Here's why. 1 retrograde is enough to shake things up, but 2 at once? That's a cosmic plot twist you didn't see coming. Venus went retrograde on March 1st, and now Mercury joins the chaos on the 7th. This isn't just delays and miscommunication, this is a complete rewrite. March 7th isn't just any date. It carries an energy of betrayal, illusions, and shocking reversals. And this time, it's not happening in history. It's happening in your inbox, your relationships, and even in your own mind. Because here's the real danger. This retrograde won't just cause misunderstandings. It will make you question reality itself. But if you know how to navigate this, you can flip the energy in your favor. Stay with the journey of wisdom to uncover what the universe is trying to reveal before it's too late. Number 1. Retrogrades do more than reverse. They rewrite reality. The idea that retrogrades only bring delays, confusion, and the resurfacing of past problems is one of the biggest misconceptions in astrology. Many assume that these cosmic events merely disrupt the flow of life, causing plans to go awry and old relationships to reappear like unwelcome ghosts from the past. But the truth runs far deeper. Retrogrades don't just pause reality, they rewrite it, shifting the way we see, interpret, and respond to the world around us. And this March, something truly rare is happening. Venus and Mercury are both in retrograde at the same time, creating a double impact that will shake up everything from relationships to communication, forcing us to confront truths we weren't ready to see. As the Buddha once said, 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And under this cosmic alignment, truth, especially the ones we've been avoiding, will come to the surface in ways we never expected. Venus retrograde is already at work, distorting how we perceive love, desire, and self-worth. It's making us question what we value, who we love, and how we see ourselves in relationships. If you've been feeling uncertain about your connections, second-guessing your desires, or realizing that what once felt fulfilling now feels empty, that's Venus retrograde forcing you to reassess. This isn't just about rekindling old flames or re-evaluating past mistakes. It's about rewriting the narrative of what love and self-worth truly mean to you. For men navigating relationships, whether dating, in long-term commitments, or even reflecting on past experiences, this period acts as a cosmic mirror, exposing insecurities and unresolved emotions. If a past relationship suddenly comes back into your thoughts, it's not necessarily a sign to return. It's a chance to understand the deeper lesson behind why it mattered in the first place. But that's only half of the storm. Mercury retrograde, arriving on March 7th, adds an entirely new layer of complexity to the mix. Mercury governs communication, logic, and technology, and when it moves in reverse, misunderstandings become inevitable. Text messages will be misread, conversations will go in circles, and critical decisions may feel clouded in uncertainty. This retrograde doesn't just bring confusion, it twists perception, making it difficult to tell what's real from what's illusion. This is where the danger lies, because under its influence, people often react emotionally rather than rationally, leading to conflicts that could have been avoided. A seemingly harmless comment could suddenly spark an argument. A long-term business deal could fall apart over a minor detail. Trust issues, both in personal and professional relationships, could be magnified, making you question people's intentions. In today's digital world, where most of our interactions happen through screens, this retrograde makes it crucial to double-check everything, emails, contracts, even casual texts, before assuming the worst. The Ides of March, historically known for betrayal and unexpected reversals, falls right on the same day that Mercury retrograde begins, adding an eerie layer of significance to the chaos that may unfold. What makes this particular retrograde season even more intense is that both Venus and Mercury are overlapping, amplifying each other's effects. Normally, a single retrograde can be disruptive, but when two of the most influential planets in our daily lives are moving backward at the same time, the result is an unprecedented shift in both our emotional and logical worlds. This is why you may feel torn between what your heart wants and what your mind is telling you, struggling to find clarity in situations that once seemed straightforward. The tension between Venus and Mercury means that relationships and communication will be especially vulnerable. One wrong word could trigger misunderstandings, and unresolved emotional wounds could resurface with full force. For men who pride themselves on rationality and control, this can feel frustrating. But here's where the true opportunity lies. This isn't a time to act, it's a time to observe, reflect, and recalibrate. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom is crucial during a double retrograde, where external circumstances may feel out of control, but your response to them is entirely in your hands. Instead of making impulsive decisions, take a step back. If a conflict arises, resist the urge to react immediately. Wait, process, and seek clarity before speaking or acting. If an old relationship resurfaces, ask yourself why before diving back in. If communication feels strained, focus on listening rather than proving a point. The universe isn't punishing you, it's giving you a second chance to see the truth, to correct past patterns, and to make better choices moving forward. Number 2. March 7th. A date with a dark cosmic history. March 7th carries an energy that few people understand, but its impact will be undeniable. Historically, this period has been associated with chaos, betrayal, and shocking reversals, echoing the infamous Ides of March, a day that changed the course of history when Julius Caesar was betrayed by those closest to him. But this year, the betrayal won't be political. It will be personal. It will unfold in your relationships, in your conversations, and even within your own thoughts. With Mercury retrograde taking hold, miscommunication will peak, distorting messages, twisting intentions, and leading to misunderstandings that can shake even the strongest of connections. Have you ever experienced a moment where your words were completely misinterpreted, where someone assumed the worst about you without giving you a chance to explain? That's the kind of confusion this cosmic shift brings, but this time amplified to an extreme. Agreements that once felt solid may suddenly unravel. Simple conversations may turn into heated arguments, and trust, both in others and in yourself, may feel like it's slipping through your fingers. The real danger here isn't just in how others perceive you, it's in how your own mind may start to deceive you, making you doubt what's real and what's just a reflection of your deepest fears. This reminds me of a well-known Buddhist story, the foolish disciple and the master's test. One day, a young disciple eagerly approached his master and said, "I have learned all your teachings, yet I still feel uncertain. How do I know what is true and what is false?" The master smiled and replied, Walk through the village tonight, and if anyone insults you, give them a coin." Confused but obedient, the disciple did as he was told. The next morning he returned, frustrated. "Master, I was insulted all night. People called me a fool, and I gave away all my money." The master nodded and asked, "And how do you feel?" The disciple thought for a moment. "At first, I was angry, but after a while, I realized their words had no real power over me." The master smiled. "Exactly. The insults were nothing but passing clouds in the sky. You only suffer when you hold on to illusions. This story is a perfect lesson for what's about to unfold during Mercury retrograde. People will speak carelessly. They will assume things about you that aren't true. And worst of all, your own fears and insecurities may trick you into believing those false narratives. But if you understand this cosmic energy, you won't fall into the trap. Instead of reacting emotionally, you will step back, observe, and realize that not every misunderstanding needs a response. The biggest challenge during this retrograde is paranoia. A delayed reply might make you think someone is ignoring you. A misunderstood text might feel like an attack. A forgotten commitment might suddenly seem like betrayal. Those who fail to recognize this will find themselves caught in unnecessary conflicts, drowning in doubt and frustration. But those who pause, take a breath, and seek clarity will avoid unnecessary pain. The Buddha once said, "Do not believe everything you think. Thoughts are just that, thoughts." If you remember this wisdom, you will see through the illusion while others fall victim to it. But here's where the real opportunity lies. While most people get lost in confusion, this retrograde can be a tool for you to sharpen your awareness. Instead of fueling miscommunication, take extra care to be clear with your words. Instead of assuming the worst, give others the benefit of the doubt. Instead of reacting emotionally, take a step back and observe. Those who master this mindset will not only survive this retrograde, they will emerge from it wiser, calmer, and more in control than ever before. While others get lost in the storm, you will stand firm, knowing that confusion is temporary, but clarity is always within reach. So, as March 7th approaches, the question isn't whether this retrograde will affect you, it's how you choose to respond to it. Number 3. How to turn retrograde chaos into an advantage. March's double retrograde is not here to break you, it's here to wake you. When the universe appears chaotic, when things seem to be going wrong, and when confusion takes over, you might feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or even lost. But what if I told you that within this very turbulence lies a hidden advantage? As ancient wisdom teaches, in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. This period of retrograde is not about destruction, it's about revelation. It's like a storm that shakes loose the illusions, exposing what was always there but hidden beneath the surface. What if the very thing you weren't supposed to see is actually the truth that sets you free? Instead of resisting the shift, you can learn to see clearly, to turn what feels like chaos into your greatest moment of insight. When confusion reigns, most people panic, react emotionally, and make impulsive choices. But those who stay still, observe, and trust their intuition will see what others miss. Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." If you believe this retrograde is a disaster, it will be. But if you see it as a mirror reflecting hidden truths, you gain an incredible advantage. Instead of engaging in drama, arguing, or letting emotions control you, try stepping back. Just observe. Notice patterns, pay attention to repeated themes, and trust that the universe is sending you signals. Are certain situations resurfacing? Are people revealing their true nature? This is not a coincidence, it's a test of perception. The ones who recognize these signs and adjust accordingly will be the ones who emerge wiser and stronger. While the world around you spirals into frustration and confusion, this is your chance to rise above. When everyone else is distracted, caught up in fear or frustration, you have the opportunity to stay grounded and make intentional choices. The Bhagavad Gita teaches, "One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is truly wise." While others react, you can pause, reflect, and move with purpose. This is your moment to sharpen your intuition, strengthen your inner peace, and trust that everything unfolding is part of a bigger plan. What patterns are you finally seeing clearly? The truth is, those who remain centered during this period will not only survive it, but will be 10 steps ahead once the dust settles. If you've made it this far, you're someone who's ready to see the truth. Drop a comment saying, "I am ready to awaken," to show you're embracing this powerful shift. Stay tuned. What's coming next will change everything. Number 4. The emotional overload. Why you're feeling more than ever. March double retrograde is intensifying emotions in a way you may not have expected. Have you been feeling waves of sadness, joy, or anxiety that seem to come out of nowhere? Do you walk into a room and suddenly feel the weight of unspoken emotions, as if you're carrying something that doesn't belong to you? This is not your imagination. This is the emotional sensitivity that retrograde energy amplifies. Your usual emotional boundaries may feel thinner, making you more attuned to the hidden currents of energy around you. Some call this empathic overload, but in truth, it is both a challenge and a gift. As the Buddha once said, "Just as a solid rock is not shaken by the storm, even so the wise remain unmoved by praise or blame." The real question is, will you let these emotions control you, or will you learn to understand and channel them? While heightened sensitivity can be exhausting, it also allows you to connect with others on a deeper level. You may notice that people reveal their true emotions more easily during this time. Someone who always seems strong may finally let down their guard. A friend who insists they are fine may unknowingly show signs of struggle. If you pay attention, you'll see beyond words and into the truth of what others are experiencing. This is a rare opportunity to deepen relationships, to offer kindness where it is needed, and to practice compassion not just for others, but also for yourself. However, just as a candle can burn too brightly and exhaust itself, you must take care not to be consumed by the emotions around you. Set boundaries, take moments of stillness, and remind yourself that while you can feel deeply, you do not have to carry everything. Number 5. The hidden gift of this emotional shift. March's double retrograde isn't just a disruption, it's an awakening. If you've been feeling unusually perceptive, almost as if you can read people like an open book, that's no coincidence. This energy shift is sharpening your emotional intelligence, allowing you to see what others try to hide. Words can deceive, but energy never lies. Have you ever shaken someone's hand and instantly felt something was off, even when they smiled and said all the right things? That's the power you're tapping into now. This retrograde is stripping away illusions, revealing people's true motives, and giving you an uncanny ability to sense authenticity. But here's the catch. While this heightened perception is a gift, it's also a responsibility. The Buddha once said, "Three things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth." What you see now may not always be comfortable, but it will be real. Think of this as a crash course in universal empathy, a skill that separates great leaders from the rest. You're not just hearing what people say, you're feeling their energy, noticing the subtle shifts in their tone, body language, and even the weight of their silence. This can be an advantage in business, relationships, and everyday interactions. The best negotiators aren't just good talkers, they're great listeners, attuned to the unsaid. The most respected men in any field don't just react. They read the room, understand emotions, and respond with precision. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, wrote, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." This is not just about conflict, it's about strategy in life. When you truly understand people's emotions, you move smarter, not harder. But there's a fine line between awareness and exhaustion. Just as a sponge absorbs water, you may find yourself soaking in too much emotional energy from those around you. If you don't set boundaries, you'll feel drained, irritable, and overwhelmed. The key is knowing when to engage and when to detach. Not every emotional signal requires a reaction. Not every problem is yours to solve. A strong man knows when to be present and when to step back. The Dalai Lama once said, "Compassion is not religious business, it is human business." You can be deeply empathetic without losing yourself in others' emotions. This retrograde is revealing hidden truths, sharpening your instincts and teaching you the power of emotional intelligence. If you learn to master it, you won't just survive this shift, you'll come out 10 steps ahead. Number 6. The paranormal phenomenon, when reality starts to shift. March's double retrograde isn't just an emotional storm, it's a shift in reality itself. Have you felt like something is just beyond your line of sight, lingering in the corners of your perception? Perhaps you've heard faint whispers in an empty room, or sensed an unseen presence when no one was there. This isn't your imagination playing tricks on you. It's the thinning of the veil between worlds. Retrogrades have long been known to disrupt not just emotions, but the very energy of existence, making what was once hidden feel unnervingly close. Throughout history, people have spoken of moments like these, times when the unseen becomes tangible, when reality itself bends, allowing brief glimpses into something beyond normal perception. You may find yourself catching shadows moving just at the edge of your vision, sensing a presence in an empty room, or feeling watched without knowing why. These moments can be unsettling, but they aren't necessarily something to fear. Not all energies that pass through are harmful. Some are simply drawn by the shifting cosmic tides, much like leaves carried by the wind. Ancient wisdom reminds us that fear often amplifies what we don't understand. The Dalai Lama once said, "If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito." This reminds us that even the smallest shifts in awareness can change how we experience the world. The key here is balance. Acknowledge what you feel, but don't let it consume you. Reality is vast, and we only perceive a fraction of it in our everyday lives. Retrogrades can act as a doorway, momentarily expanding our awareness beyond the ordinary. But be mindful. Just as staring too long into the abyss may cause it to stare back, Focusing too much on these strange occurrences can invite deeper entanglement. If you find yourself experiencing these shifts, ground yourself in the present moment. Practice mindfulness, surround yourself with positive energy, and remember that you are always in control of your perception. Number 7. The breakdown of the senses when reality glitches. March double retrograde is not just affecting your emotions or the flow of daily life, it's shifting the very way you experience reality. Have you noticed that your senses seem to be blending in ways they never have before? Maybe music doesn't just sound like music anymore. It carries a color, a feeling, or even a taste. Perhaps old memories aren't just thoughts. They bring with them the distinct scent of a place long forgotten. Or maybe emotions have become more than just moods, transforming into physical sensations. Anxiety pressing on your chest like a weight, joy feeling like warmth spreading through your body. This isn't just your mind playing tricks on you. What you're experiencing is a deep rewiring of perception, a temporary dissolution of the boundaries that normally keep your senses separate. Some might call it a glitch in reality, but what if it's actually a wake-up call? As the Buddha once said, when the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. What if, in this moment of sensory confusion, there is a hidden opportunity to understand yourself and the world around you on a much deeper level? Throughout history, there have been accounts of this phenomenon. Artists, musicians, and philosophers have spoken of moments where their senses overlapped, where music painted pictures in their minds, or emotions carried tangible weight. This blending of perception is called synesthesia, and while some are born with it, others experience it during moments of heightened awareness. Retrogrades, especially intense ones like this, can disrupt the filters your mind normally uses to separate sight from sound, taste from touch, and thought from feeling. The Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "The present moment is the only moment available to us, and it is the door to all moments." Could it be that your senses are not breaking down, but rather breaking through, expanding beyond their usual limits to show you a new way of experiencing reality? Instead of dismissing these experiences as strange or unsettling, try paying closer attention. If a song suddenly carries an emotion so strong that it feels like a physical sensation, what is it trying to tell you? If an old memory resurfaces with a scent or a taste attached, why is your mind bringing it back now? Every sensory shift could be a message, an insight into something deeper that has long been buried or overlooked. But with this heightened perception comes the need for balance. If you don't ground yourself, this flood of sensory input can be overwhelming, making it hard to distinguish between what is real and what is simply a result of the shifting energies around you. Number 8. Retrogrades don't end when they end. Just because the retrograde officially ends doesn't mean its effects disappear overnight. Retrogrades don't follow human calendars. They move like waves, lingering in the air, shifting the energy around you long after they've technically passed. This is known as the shadow period, the time when the lessons of the retrograde still echo, shaping your thoughts, emotions, and even your decisions. If you've been feeling lost, stuck, or uncertain leading up to March, you weren't imagining it. You were already under the influence of Venus's shadow phase, where unresolved emotions and relationships began surfacing. And now, as Mercury's energy takes over, you may find yourself being pulled back into old thought patterns, conversations, or mental loops you thought you had already outgrown. The truth is, many people make the mistake of assuming that once the retrograde ends, everything will magically reset, but growth doesn't work like that. If you resist what this period is trying to show you, the same lessons will come back again, just in different forms, through different people, and at different times. Number 9. Who will feel this the hardest? Not everyone will experience March's double retrograde in the same way. For some, it will feel like a mild inconvenience, a few delays, minor miscommunications, or a slightly heavier emotional tone. But for others, it will hit like a tidal wave, shaking the very foundation of their thoughts, emotions, and relationships. So, who will feel this the hardest? Astrology teaches that planetary movements don't just affect us broadly, they impact us personally, based on where these energies land in our birth charts. If you're a Taurus or Libra, both ruled by Venus, you're likely going through a period of deep emotional and relationship shifts. What once felt stable may suddenly feel uncertain, forcing you to reevaluate how you love, connect, and seek harmony in your life. If you're a Gemini or Virgo, ruled by Mercury, miscommunication, mental fog, and unexpected shifts in perception may be unavoidable. Conversations that once seemed simple might now feel layered with misunderstandings, and old thought patterns you believed you had outgrown could resurface, asking you to take another look. But this goes beyond just your sun sign. If your moon, rising, or key planets fall in any of these signs, you're in the direct line of fire. The Buddha once said, "Nothing is permanent, everything is subject to change. Being is always becoming," and right now, that truth is more evident than ever. This double retrograde is not just a moment of inconvenience, it's a reset. It's shaking up everything you thought was certain, not to punish you, but to force you to look deeper. There's a Buddhist story about a man who wanted enlightenment, so he traveled to meet a great master. When he arrived, the master served him tea, but as he poured, the cup overflowed. The man shouted, "Stop! The cup is full!" The master smiled and said, "Like this cup, your mind is full of opinions and assumptions. You must first empty it to learn anything new." This is exactly what this retrograde is doing. It's tipping over the cup, spilling out old assumptions, and making room for something new. Many people fear retrogrades because they bring discomfort, but discomfort is often the birthplace of transformation. If everything is under review, your thoughts, your emotions, even your sense of identity, then what is this moment trying to teach you? Are you willing to let go of what's crumbling and trust that something better is on the way? Lao Tzu once said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." The people who will feel this retrograde the hardest are not just those with specific astrological placements, but those who resist the lessons it brings. Because in the end, it's not the retrograde that makes things difficult. It's our attachment to what's trying to change. If you're still here, it's because you know this retrograde is speaking directly to you. Let us know by commenting, "I'm unlocking the truth." Stay with us. There's so much more to uncover. Number 10. The universe is playing back your past for a reason. The universe is playing back your past like a movie reel, showing you scenes you may have forgotten or tried to bury. Why? Because there's something you missed, something unresolved, unfinished, or unlearned. The past is not just a place we leave behind. It's a foundation that shapes who we are. And if cracks exist in that foundation, the weight of the present will eventually expose them. The Buddha once said, "Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts." Right now, the cosmos is intervening, making sure you face the thoughts, emotions, and experiences you've been avoiding. Ignoring it won't work. The universe is persistent, and when something needs to be addressed, it won't stop knocking at your door just because you refuse to answer. If you dismiss the signs, if you brush off the recurring symbols, the familiar emotions triggered by seemingly unrelated events, or the strange déjà vu pulling you back to moments long gone, the universe will only push harder. This is why patterns repeat, why certain situations keep coming back into your life under different disguises. If you've ever wondered why you attract the same kind of relationships, face the same conflicts, or struggle with the same inner battles despite years passing, this is why. There is a famous Buddhist teaching that says, "The lesson will repeat until it is learned. The more you resist, the louder the lesson becomes." In your life right now, is it an old regret, a conversation you never had, or a decision you wish you had made differently? Maybe it's a recurring feeling of being stuck, repeating the same habits, or noticing that no matter where you go, the same struggles follow you. These patterns are not accidents, they are lessons wrapped in different forms, waiting for you to acknowledge them. Number 11. Retrogrades are a second chance, not a punishment. While most people fear retrogrades, believing them to be times of chaos, setbacks, and emotional turmoil, the truth is they are much more than that. Retrogrades rewind time in a way that allows you to revisit the past, not to dwell on it, but to fix what was left unresolved. Have you noticed old problems resurfacing? Past mistakes coming back into focus, or even people you thought were gone suddenly reappearing? This is no accident. The universe is giving you a cosmic reset, an opportunity to confront what was left unfinished. Whether it's a relationship that ended without closure, a dream you abandoned too soon, or a decision that still lingers in your mind. As the Buddha once said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." There's a reason excess resurface. Long-forgotten issues demand attention, and familiar challenges show up once again during a retrograde. It's because these things were never truly gone. They were simply waiting for the right moment to be dealt with. The most powerful part of this retrograde is that you are not the same person you were when these situations first unfolded. The past may look the same, but you are different now. You have more wisdom, more clarity, and a deeper understanding of what you truly want. That means you have a choice. Keep repeating old cycles, falling into the same traps, and reacting the same way you always have, or finally break free and do something different. Lao Tzu once said, "If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading." So ask yourself, are you willing to use this second chance wisely? What is this retrograde showing you that you need to face? And most importantly, are you ready to finally close the chapter on what no longer serves you? Because this time, you actually have the chance to rewrite the ending. Will you take it? This double retrograde isn't here to punish you. It's here to wake you up. The challenges you're facing aren't setbacks. They're opportunities to see the truth, break old cycles, and move forward with clarity. Not everyone gets this kind of reset, but if you're feeling its effects deeply, take it as a sign that you're being given a rare chance to correct the past and shape a better future. So ask yourself, If you had the power to fix something you thought was lost, would you take it? If this message resonated with you, let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Journey of Wisdom. Turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming insights. Thank you for being here. Your Journey of Wisdom continues. See you in the next video.